Boring times were often the hardest to endure. In the days that followed, Fang Jueyu almost always spent his time interning. Although, due to his identity, the department manager didn't assign Fang Jueyu overly burdensome tasks. Coding all day was still incredibly tedious. For a month, Fang Jueyu persistently practiced the potential guiding technique daily. According to Xiaoya's estimate, Fang Jueyu now had roughly the combat strength of a B-level superpower user. As for just how powerful he truly was, Fang Jueyu hadn't had the chance to put it into practice. He thought about sparring with Gogh, but feared that Gogh might accidentally go overboard and end up killing him. As usual, Fang Jueyu guided the cosmic source power around his body once more. He could clearly feel a significant enhancement in his physique, and at this rate, he would become a true hidden elementer in less than 5 months. Second stage permission task activated. Suddenly, Xiaoya's voice rang in his ear. Right, level 1 permission was already unlocked, and it was time to start the level 2 permission task. Come on, are you going to make me spend money again? Let the storm hit harder then. Fang Jueyu was well prepared. With his previous experience, even if it cost him 5 trillion, he was confident he could spend it. Second level permission task. Believe in me and gain eternal life. Task description. How can someone with endless wealth not have a group of followers? The host needs to assemble a batch of followers of his own. Task requirement. Have 100,000 followers within 3 years. What kind of ridiculous task is this? Fang Jueyu was dumbfounded. Don't I already have over 20 million fans? Does that count? Of course that doesn't count, Xiaoya replied. The condition for followers is that they must see you as their belief and worship you as their idol. This elevates to a higher spiritual level. Fans are far from reaching this point. Then how do I qualify someone as my follower? Asked Fang Jueyu. I have a standard for the definition of followers, but the actual implementation is something you'll have to figure out on your own. I can't help you with that. Fang Jueyu glanced at his task progress. It showed. What kind of ridiculous task did my dad arrange for me? Fang Jueyu grumbled. Oh right, what about the big group of people from our family? Don't they count? Of course not. They are loyal to the entire Fang family, but not necessarily your followers. For example, Gogh's belief is in your father, Fang Jueyu. That makes sense, Fang Jueyu mused. Those people, although trained by the Fang family, hadn't really had much contact with him, so how could they believe in him? The path is long and arduous. Astronomers predicted a spectacular Orionid meteor shower from November 27th to 29th. Under favorable weather and geographic conditions, over 200 meteors could be seen per hour, making it the most spectacular meteor shower of the year. As soon as this news broke, young people across Huaxia were thrilled. In the hearts of many, meteor showers represented the ultimate romance. Witnessing a meteor shower firsthand would be an incredibly lucky event. The most crucial aspect was that on the evening of November 28th, it would be Su Lun's concert, right when the meteor shower was at its peak. The concert's venue was also at an excellent location. Imagine, embraced by a loved one with Su Lun's songs echoing around, while meteors streaked across the sky. What a beautiful scene. Having Su Lun's contact information meant that Fang Jueyu didn't need to get tickets himself. Although, given his wealth, getting the best seats up front was no problem. Su Lun had already told him she reserved a spot for him. Fang Jueyu naturally wouldn't waste that effort. The number 1 rich third generation in the galaxy, actually have to do some lousy internship at such a shabby company. It really was beneath me. Fang Jueyu muttered to himself as he typed code into the computer. With Zhu Shank exerting pressure, Fang Jueyu had no choice but to stay at that place obediently. Although several times he considered acquiring NetEase Cloud Music, he resisted the urge. Otherwise, Zhu Shank might come after him with a knife. Finally done, Fang Jueyu stretched his neck. Along with his improving physique, his brain's capacity had also increased significantly. A few lines of code were no challenge for him. Today was Su Lun's concert, and Guo Xinyu was already waiting for him downstairs at the company. Wow, no wonder it's Su Lun's concert, look at the turnout. Fang Jueyu and Guo Xinyu wove through the crowd, which was as packed as a train station during the Spring Festival travel rush. Fortunately, Fang Jueyu had informed Su Lun in advance, and her assistant, who was also her agent, awaited them at the ticket gate. With Dang leading their way, there was no need for ticket checks. They went right in. A quick glance, and a staff member at the ticket gate caught his attention. Every Su Lun's concert recruited many volunteers, responsible for ticket checks, guiding, and similar tasks. The reward was getting to watch the concert for free. This staff member had a volunteer badge hanging around her neck. Clearly, she was a fan. Fang Jueyu didn't expect that this person would turn out to be Jiang Yuan. Jiang Yuan clearly recognized Fang Jueyu too, lowering her head and not daring to meet his eyes. She had thought she'd snagged a wealthy boyfriend, but Jiang Yuan ended up being only a distraction for Wang Xuan during his lonely times. A few weeks ago, he dumped her. As for concert tickets, she wasn't going to get any of those anymore. Luckily, Jiangnan University was arguably the best university in the province, so when the concert needed volunteers, she lucked out from numerous applicants, but she didn't expect to encounter him again this way. Fate sure plays tricks, Fang Jueyu chuckled. Seeing her like this, Fang Jueyu roughly understood what had happened. She brought it upon herself. From that day onward, their paths would diverge, and without stopping for even a moment, he moved on immediately. At 7:40 p.m., as Su Lun's signature voice filled the air, the concert began, precisely when a blue light streaked across the sky. Look, a meteor! Gogh Xinyu excitedly clung to Fang Jueyu's arm and closed her eyes to make a wish. What did you wish for? Fang Jueyu curiously asked. I'm not telling you, Gogh Xinyu stuck out her tongue. Host, your delivery has arrived. At that moment, Zioya's voice echoed in Fang Jueyu's ear. What delivery? I haven't ordered anything online recently, Fang Jueyu said. It's sent by your father. Really? Where is it? Is someone coming by UFO to deliver? Fang Jueyu glanced up at the sky, but apart from the occasional meteor, there was nothing else in the vast expanse. I found out from my subsystem that this delivery is sent in the form of a meteor, mixed in with today's meteor shower, Zioya explained. What? Fang Jueyu's jaw dropped in shock. Was this the delivery method his dad, Fang Jueyu, mentioned? Did the delivery person embed the package in a meteor? But meteors usually burnt up upon entering the atmosphere, leaving nothing to land. Host, how can you still be so short-sighted? Zioya mocked. The power of extraterrestrial civilizations isn't something you can imagine with your common sense. Even if you lived on the sun, as long as you paid enough cosmic credits, they'd deliver it there too. Your underdeveloped planet hasn't joined the Cosmic Alliance yet. If a delivery person showed up, it'd probably scare humans half to death. So they generally use a special method, packing items into mini storage spaces, then embedding them in an artificial meteor to deliver it this way. That's quite the innovative approach. How do I retrieve the delivery then? Don't worry, the meteor carrying the package has a signal transmitter. It's just a piece of rock. No one will mind it. We can find it tomorrow. Sounds good. Fang Jueyu tightened his hold on Gogh Xinyu beside him, diving back into the music fest. Little Yi, are you sure my package really landed nearby? Relax, my detector never makes mistakes. It's definitely around here, I swear on my life. You need to be a person and have a head to swear with. Fang Jueyu rolled his eyes helplessly. Ideally, Little Yi could accurately locate the small meteorite carrying the package, but for some reason, the signal emitter might have malfunctioned during delivery, so it could only sense a general area. However, this area was quite large. When Fang Jueyu arrived, he discovered it was a small village on the outskirts of Jiangnan City. Unlike cities filled with roads and buildings, finding a meteorite here wasn't too difficult. Although this area was on the path to urbanization, it still retained its rural charm. Everywhere in the village were muddy ponds and farmlands. Little Yi said that this package had an automatic cushioning system. If it fell here, there wouldn't be a big impact, making finding this fist-sized artificial meteorite like looking for a needle in a haystack. Damn, at this rate, when will we find it? Fang Jueyu had circled a farmland several times already. Little Yi told him that the package's precise location was lost, so they could only search by close proximity. As long as they got within half a meter of the meteorite, Little Yi could identify it. But the village wasn't small, and its terrain was complex. The meteorite that landed last night didn't cause any noticeable noise, making it challenging. Suddenly, Fang Jueyu spotted a few middle-aged people working in the farmland. A thought crossed his mind. Since he struggled to find it alone, why not enlist a group of people to help, making it twice as effective with half the effort? Fang Jueyu approached and patted a middle-aged man's shoulder. The man straightened up, wiped his sweat, and observed that this young man did not seem to be from the village. Based on his attire, he probably came from Jiangnan City's urban area for leisure. Many young people like to visit such places to experience rural life, which was common to him. Young man, want to eat? Our vegetables are the freshest and reasonably priced. Fang Juyu almost spoke but swallowed his words. Well, sir, I'm not here to eat. I'm wondering if you'd like to make some money. I have a temporary job. Could you spare some time to help? The middle-aged man looked disappointed. Young man, I'm busy tending the farm. I don't have time for anything else. Ask someone else. Sir, won't you even hear what the job is? Fang Juyu asked with a smile. I promise the pay will be higher than your yearly income here. The man stopped what he was doing. Young man, you better not be messing with me. What job pays that much? You don't mean something illegal, right? I can't do that. No, it's legitimate, Fang Juyu said. Sir, are you familiar with this village? How could I not be? I've lived here over 40 years. I could walk around with my eyes closed. That's great, Fang Juyu said. I'm looking for a fist-sized stone. If you can help me find it, I'll pay you 100,000 yuan. Find a stone. The middle-aged man had never heard of something like it in his half a lifetime. Could it be a rare stone? But no matter how rare, it's just a stone. He wasn't educated, only knew to earn money honestly. Tell you what, if you don't believe me, I'll pay you half up front. If you find the stone, I'll give you the other half. How about that? The man's family ran a rural homestay. Although not educated, he knew online payments. Fang Juyu directly transferred 50,000 yuan to him online. It's real. The man was overjoyed. What if I can't find it? Will you take the money back? If you can't find it, the money is yours. But it's hard to find. I need many people. Can you help gather more people? I'll pay each person 50,000 up front and another 50,000 if they find the stone. All right, wait here. I'll gather people right away. Apparently fearing Fang Juyu might change his mind, the man ran home. Honey, quick, stop cooking, come with me. There's an employer hiring temp workers, paying 50,000 each, and it's instant payment. Really? The woman asked in disbelief. Of course, the employer's waiting. Call more people quickly. And the employer paid promptly via instant transfer. Men and women, old and young, all dropped what they were doing and started searching for a fist-sized round stone in fields, ponds, orchards, and such. Even though it was a village, word spread rapidly, and people from neighboring villages joined the event. Fang Juyu lacked nothing in terms of money. The value of the package's contents was immeasurable by earthly currency. A few hundred people from several villages combined, and the potential reward, millions, was just a drop in the bucket for him. Not this one. Nor this. Fang Juyu sat on a wooden bench at the village entrance, facing a long queue, each person holding several round stones. Despite his explaining the meteorite had specific features, they, being simple farmers, eagerly brought every fist-sized round stone they found, as 50,000 yuan was more than most families earned in a year. Geez, it's already hard with so many people helping. I'd never find it alone. A day had nearly passed with no results, and a mound of stones had piled up nearby. What do you think this employer is even looking for? Some villagers in line started discussing. Who knows? Who can tell what rich people want? I just saw on the news someone spent millions on a useless piece of wood. Really? Could these stones be that valuable? Who cares, even if they are? What do we know? Be content earning a few thousand. Host, there's a signal. What, where? Fang Juyu jumped up excitedly. The signal's moving. It just passed right by you and then disappeared. What? Fang Juyu scanned the surroundings. Everyone with stones awaited quietly in line. The only one darting past him was a small child just now. There it is. Sure enough, the child held a blackened stone pocked with small burning pits, characteristic of a meteorite. After all that searching, it was in the hands of a child. Hey boss, you haven't looked at my stone yet. The local who had just lined up shouted at Fang Juyu's back. But at that moment, Fang Juyu couldn't care less about others. It was as if he were a trafficker who had just discovered his target as he rushed toward the 4- or 5-year-old child. Hey little one, can you show me your stone? Fang Juyu squatted down and said in as soft a tone as possible, suppressing his excitement. The child immediately became very wary and hid the stone behind his back. Mom said I shouldn't talk to strangers. I'm not a bad guy, I just want the stone in your hand. Can you sell it to me? Fang Juyu continued. I'll give you 100,000 yuan, which can buy a lot of snacks and toys. Fang Juyu fully utilized his skill in coaxing the child, making little Yi laugh out loud. 100,000. The locals nearby expressed surprise as they heard this, wondering what kind of stone could be worth that much. They wouldn't even look twice at such a piece of junk on the roadside. How could it be considered a treasure by the rich? The child's eyes rolled around as he pondered what it meant to have 100,000 yuan. If that's not enough, I'll give you 1 million. 1 million? Oh my goodness, you can build several big houses around here with that. Old Yu's family lucked out. So many of us couldn't find it and his son stumbled upon it. Yeah, he really stepped in it, huh? Can you buy many things with 1 million? The little guy hesitated for a long time, finally showing some interest. Of course, 1 million can buy an endless supply of snacks and toys. Can I have 10 million instead? The child's world was indeed simple and innocent. He didn't even understand what numbers he was speaking about. And he thought Fang Jueyu surely wouldn't agree, thinking only a crazy person would pay 10 million for a seemingly worthless stone. Sure, it's a deal then. To everyone's surprise, Fang Jueyu agreed without hesitation. Here you go, the child handed the stone to Fang Jueyu. Little Yi, is this it? Fang Jueyu asked eagerly after taking the stone. Yes, that's the one. It's not covered in stone but a special kind of metal. There's a small storage space inside, I can sense it. Fantastic! Fang Jueyu breathed a sigh of relief. The money he spent was worth it now that he had secured the item. Where are the child's parents? Please come out so I can transfer the money to you. Many people thought that Fang Jueyu might go back on his word after getting the item, as there would be no proof if he didn't pay. But to their surprise, Fang Jueyu actually sought out the child's parents. Here we are. A dark-skinned man and woman quickly emerged from the long line. They too had been digging in the fields all day, not expecting their son to find it. Their faces beamed with joy. Boss, we're the child's parents, they said cautiously. Give me your payment code, and I'll transfer the money to you right away. Hey, the child's mother wiped her dirty hands on her apron and hastily pulled out her phone. Ding dong. T10 million. The couple had never seen so much money in their lives. Maybe they were used to living in poverty because getting such an amount suddenly made them panic. Wasn't it supposed to be 50,000 for finding the stone? This is too much. That won't do. I made a legitimate deal with your son. A deal's a deal. I won't shortchange just because it's a child. Wow, now that's a true boss. Fang Jueyu's actions immediately garnered goodwill from the locals. Although they hadn't found the stone themselves, some families received a few 100,000 or even 1 million, leaving them no room for complaint. Do you think if that little guy had asked for more, the boss would have paid up too? No way, right? I wouldn't bet on it. With 600 or 700 people helping today, they've shelled out over 20 million. Does that boss look like someone strapped for cash? Wow, so envious. Thank you, boss, thank you, boss. The couple walked away, all smiles, holding their child happily. Everyone earned what they came for, and Fang Jueyu found what he was looking for, so they all went their separate ways. Gu Yi, find someone to keep an eye on this family for a while. If anyone tries anything with them, handle it, Fang Jueyu muttered. He knew that human nature could be terrifying. Understood, young master, Gu Yi's voice echoed in Fang Jueyu's ear. With the item in hand, Fang Jueyu eagerly returned home. He examined the stone from every angle, but except for some pitted holes, it had no visible switches. Little Yi, how do you open this thing? You need spiritual power to unlock it. Everyone's spiritual power is unique. Your father must have set it up while sending it. Infuse your spiritual power into it, and it'll open automatically. Really? After days of practice, Fang Jueyu had managed some basic control over his spiritual power. Sure enough, as he infused it, a small crack appeared on the black stone. Click, click. A mechanical sound came from inside the stone as it suddenly shattered, revealing a small silver-white box. Fang Jueyu opened the box to find an exquisitely crafted ring. Host, this is a secondary civilization space storage device. Besides storing items, it also has a self-defense mechanism. It's worth enough to buy this little planet Earth. Wow, really? Fang Jueyu put the ring on his finger. If the storage device is this valuable, wouldn't the items inside be even more so? Can I open this with spiritual power too? Fang Jueyu asked. Yes. However, when Fang Jueyu infused his spiritual power into it, a beam of light shot out from the ring, projecting Fang Jueyu's holographic image in front of him. Damn it, Dad, you scared the crap out of me. You brat, I knew you'd curse at me. Fang Jueyu's recorded message played. Now that you've activated the second-level permission quest, you're probably wondering why I set it up this way, right? Fang Jueyu perked up his ears. Could his dad have a different intention? Don't overthink it, I was just bored. Fang Jueyu rolled his eyes, seeing that his dad's flamboyant style hadn't changed. I intended to send you some good stuff, but I worried it'd be too shocking. So I only sent you some handy little gadgets. Some items could help you with the second-level permission quest. Make good use of them and have fun. Busy with business, goodbye. After just a few sentences, Fang Jueyu's virtual image vanished. What's in here anyway? Fang Jueyu once again infused spiritual power, and amidst the clutter, he spotted two special items in a clean corner, a small architectural model and an egg the size of a baby's head. What the heck is this? Fang Jueyu pulled out a model of a building, and at that moment he felt as if he could instantly construct a grand and imposing building in front of him with just a thought. This should be a product of high-level civilization technology, Little Yi said. I've never seen something like this either. Give me a song's time to read the user manual. Where's the manual? How come I didn't see it? Don't look at this high-tech stuff with your country bumpkin eyes, okay? Little Yi said disdainfully. This thing is at least a level 3 civilization product. Even if your little planet develops for tens of thousands of years, it might not come up with such a treasure. It was unclear what method Little Yi used, but after a few minutes of silence, it suddenly became excited. Host, this is good stuff. As your dad said, this thing is really helpful for unlocking your level 2 permissions. Quick, tell me, what is it for exactly? This is a high-level intelligence school used by level 4 civilizations to train the younger generation, Little Yi explained. This model is a folded space where you can project this intelligent school anywhere. Once you bind with it, you can gain the highest permissions of the school. What's so special about that? Even our schools on Earth can do intelligent education now. Come on, can you use your imagination a bit? Can the education on Earth compare to that of a level 4 civilization? Little Yi said. In this intelligent school, the only thing you can't think of is something it can't teach. Like what? Let me show you the advanced courses in physics first, Little Yi said. As soon as the words were spoken, the tiny model projected the virtual shadows of very thick books. Theories of black hole power generation, light-speed engine theory, wormhole construction theory. This is for the medical program. Human body transformation technology, human immune deficiency completion technology, brain area development technology, advanced surgery. What the heck is this advanced surgery? Oh, for example, even if your head falls off, if you've learned advanced surgery, you can stick it back in minutes without any issues with your nerves and blood vessels. That's impossible, right? Even with such technology, how could an ordinary person perform the operation? Of course, ordinary people can't do it. This intelligent school has a series of very basic courses to help humans develop potential, similar to the potential guiding technique. The principle is almost the same, but the efficiency is a bit lower. However, for you humans, it's already a treasure. Fang Jueyu continued to browse these categorized books: solar furnace technology, object quantization technology, basics of alchemy. Gradually, beads of sweat formed on his forehead. These things only existed in human imagination and theory, and now he's told there's a school that can teach him these things. It was beyond imagination before. So who teaches these courses? Are there teachers? Of course there are, but these teachers are highly intelligent robots. They came complimentary when buying this intelligent school. Your father has already set their appearance and personality. For instance, the military theory course teacher is modeled after Zhu Liang. Wow, that's incredible, Fang Jueyu exclaimed in amazement. I get it. Fang Jueyu now understood why his dad said this thing was helpful for his level 2 permission task. He could rely on this incredible school to recruit a large number of students. As the principal of the school, it would be easy to accumulate a group of followers, wouldn't it? Little Yi, how do I use this thing? Fang Jueyu was already a bit impatient. You just need to bind with spiritual power, and you can directly have the school's highest permissions, controlling everything at will. But you need to carefully consider the location of the school, Little Yi reminded. That makes sense. On second thought, if such a school suddenly appeared in the world, the panic it would cause is imaginable. At least before this school grows strong, it should not be exposed to the public. Although Fang Jueyu wasn't afraid of any organization or power on this earth, he didn't want a life of constant fighting. Spending money and showing off every day, wasn't that a good life? In that case, I'll just buy a deserted mountain. Fang Jueyu already had a plan in mind, and that mountain would one day become a mythical place. Imagine, everyone coming from that place would have special skills. I need to come up with a catchy name for the school. For some reason, The name of Dawn International Psychiatric Hospital suddenly flashed through Fang Juyu's mind. He shook his head, quickly dismissing all those wild ideas. Since this school is so awesome, let's just call it Super God Academy. As soon as Fang Jueyu had this name in his mind, the plaque on the building model displayed the words Super God Academy in Huaxia language. Wow, it can even autoset the language. Fang Jueyu put Super God Academy back in his ring, then took out that small egg. Did my dad get a pet for me from somewhere? Fang Jueyu speculated, but what could hatch from this egg? A snake, a dinosaur, a dragon? Host, this seems to be a soul slayer beast egg. Little Yi's voice for once had a slight emotional fluctuation with a hint of fear. Soul slayer beast, I've never heard of it. The soul slayer beast is a very rare creature in the universe, extremely dangerous and highly aggressive. A mature soul-devouring beast can easily destroy a civilization. What? My dad brought something this dangerous to Earth. What if it accidentally smashes the Earth? Fang Juyu's hand trembled slightly as he held the egg. No, host, this egg seems different, Little Yi said. Do you see the patterns on the egg? I see them, so what? This is an ancient rune, a kind of contract-like thing. Bite your finger and drip blood on it. Have you read too many fantasy novels? Fang Jueyu showed a disdainful expression. Wasn't this too cringy? Quit talking nonsense and listen to me, Little Yi said impatiently. Why so fierce? Fang Jueyu said, feeling wronged, but he still bit his finger and smeared blood on the egg. The rune on the egg emitted a faint glow, and the blood was miraculously absorbed by the egg. Crack, moments later, a cracking sound came from the egg. The crack grew larger, and finally, after a struggle, a furry head poked out from the eggshell. Woo-woo-woo-woof. What the hell, soul-devouring beast, isn't this a dog? Fang Jueyu pointed to the furry little creature and said, Did my dad make a mistake? Did he send me a puppy instead? A dog hatching from an egg. Any sane person would find it unbelievable, right? But this bizarre event happened right before Fang Juyu's eyes. This is downright spooky, Fang Jueyu said as he picked up the soul-devouring beast's cub. The little creature's eyes hadn't opened yet. Its tiny pink tongue flicked in and out, exuding an extreme cuteness. If Guo Xinyu were here, she'd surely be over the moon with excitement. Zhao, can something like this really destroy civilizations? You must be kidding, right? Fang Jueyu poked the little one's belly. Well, Zhao seemed a bit unsure. Its database contained information about the soul-devouring beasts, as well as images of them, but those were colossal creatures spanning dozens or even hundreds of kilometers, bearing no resemblance to this puppy-like creature in front of them. However, when soul-devouring beasts appear in the outside world, they're usually in their adult state, and there's never been any sighting of a juvenile soul-devouring beast. Perhaps when they're young, they really are this innocuous-looking. Maybe it was due to the bloodline contract on the eggshell. The little one had no defenses against Fang Jueyu whatsoever. It lay quietly in his hand, rubbing its head against his palm. Host, regardless of whether this truly is a soul-devouring beast, since you have a bloodline contract, it will never betray you, Zhao remarked in disbelief. Your family's business is quite extraordinary to have even gotten a hold of such an egg. Whether it's a dog or not, let's just keep it as a dog. I'll name you Gogh, and maybe you can guard my Super God Academy, Fang Jueyu decided. I'll kill you, Zhao said through gritted teeth. Fang Juyu's father used to call it a dog, so the implications of Gogh were clear. Don't mind the details, Zhao. What does this soul-devouring beast eat? Dog food, Fang Jueyu asked absent-mindedly. Angry yet powerless to resist, Zhao eventually gave in. According to my database, soul-devouring beasts hunt fierce interstellar creatures as food. This really surpasses my knowledge. Fang Jueyu opened Gogh's mouth, and since it had just hatched, it hadn't grown any teeth yet. Fine, I'll get it some milk. Fang Jueyu carefully placed the little one on the sofa and turned to go into the kitchen. As soon as Fang Jueyu left, the little one woke up from its nap. Its round belly rumbled, clearly starving. Its shiny black eyes darted around before a set of short but incredibly sharp teeth suddenly grew from its mouth. Its nose gently sniffed the sofa beneath it, then it took a fierce bite. I wonder if alien creatures can adapt to the milk we humans drink, Fang Jueyu said, holding a small bottle of milk as he walked out of the kitchen, only to be dumbfounded by the scene before him. The $5.02 million imported mahogany sofa was now in tatters, wood chips, expensive leather, and cotton strewn everywhere. The amethyst coffee table in front also had a missing corner, and the remaining parts were covered in chaotic bite marks and scratches. The painting on the wall, worth tens of millions of dollars, was left unrecognizable. The two Qing dynasty porcelain vases that Emperor Qianlong once used were riddled with dents. What the hell? I was only gone for 10 minutes and a thief broke into my house. Fang Jueyu was dumbstruck by the scene before him, especially at the ruined masterpieces, feeling as if his heart were bleeding. Crunch, crunch! At that moment, a crisp sound came from the entrance hall, and Fang Jueyu hurriedly ran over. There, a pitch-black Gogh lay next to a piano previously used by Chopin, with one piano leg already half-chewed. Woof woof! Sensing Fang Juyu's arrival, it turned its head, its intelligent eyes giving him an adorable look. Crunch! The half-chewed piano corner finally gave way under the piano's weight and crashed to the ground. I was gone for just 10 minutes and you've torn my house apart. Fang Juyu's fists clenched involuntarily. Aren't you supposed to be some kind of soul-devouring beast? You're just a husky, aren't you? Zhao, look up how to cook dog meat deliciously. Fang Jueyu spat, throwing the milk bottle in his hand to the ground. In just a few minutes he'd lost billions. No matter how rich he was, he couldn't afford such a destructive creature. Fang Jueyu had been practicing the potential guiding technique for over a month. According to Zhao data, his strength, speed, and reflexes were about 10 times that of a normal person. Yet, he couldn't catch a single dog at this speed. Whoosh! He dashed at Gogh like a blur, but strangely, Gogh leaped with even more astonishing speed, evading him. It seemed to be playing a game, dodging left and right, destroying a piece of decoration in the living room with each move. Crash! Moments later, the entire living room was in complete disarray. Yet Fang Jueyu didn't even manage to pluck a single hair from the dog. How could someone with powers equivalent to a B-level superpower user not catch a newly born dog? Whimper, whimper, Gogh whimpered in grievance. It just wanted some food because it was hungry. Why was its owner chasing it relentlessly? If this creature had shown up earlier, I could have probably activated my first-level permissions in just a few days, Fang Jueyu lamented. His dad hadn't brought a pet. He had essentially hired a demolition team. During the chase, some powdered milk had spilled on the ground. Gogh sniffed and scurried over, licking up the milk powder eagerly. Whimper, whimper. Its little black face showed a satisfied expression. This stuff was way tastier than those hard, dry things from earlier. After finishing the milk powder, Gogh looked unsatisfied, then ran over to Fang Jueyu, wagging its short tail. You want more? Fang Jueyu asked. Woof! Surprisingly, Gogh seemed to understand him. This dog is sentient. Fang Jueyu suddenly had an idea. From now on, you have to listen to me. No eating anything without my permission and no wanton destruction. Woof woof! Gogh nodded intelligently. Haha, host, don't underestimate soul-devouring beasts. Their brain development is much higher than humans, and their intelligence is far superior. Plus, with your bloodline contract, it can naturally understand you. Tusk, tusk, tusk. If you manage to raise this soul-devouring beast, you could probably walk fearlessly across the universe once you leave Earth. Shut up, don't you know how much stuff this thing will destroy as it grows? Fang Jueyu almost cried looking at the chaotic living room. He picked up the phone. Aunt Zhang, there was a bit of an incident here. The living room was torn apart by a dog. Could you call someone to clean up? A lot of things were destroyed. What? We have spares. Okay, swap them out for me and find a skilled craftsman to fix my piano. Over a decade ago, a magical masterpiece titled Harry Potter took the world by storm. Almost every young person had a magical dream in their heart. Their dreams included a school called Hogwarts, where they could learn all sorts of magic, brew potions for immortality, and even fly freely on brooms in the sky. When Fang Jueyu was young, he had similar dreams. However, as he grew up and matured, these dreams faded with reality, but he never expected that such dreams would one day come true. His Super God Academy was 100 times greater than Hogwarts. Everything you wished to learn was here. Such a school naturally couldn't be established in the city. If discovered, it would surely lead to all sorts of trouble. Amazingly, although the school was exceptionally large with space-folding technology, it could be entirely hidden away, leaving just a gateway connecting Earth and the school space. All Fang Jueyu needed to do was find a suitable location. Fang Juyu's businesses spanned the globe. While it might be difficult to find a place as large as a film city, finding a privately contracted small mountain peak was a piece of cake. In the hilly area on the west side of Jiangnan City, Fang Jueyu owned a privately contracted small mountain peak about 500 meters high. The mountain had little use beyond its beautiful scenery. It was said that Fang Jueyu bought it when he was young, specifically to have a place to fly kites with cow land. This will do. Since the Fang family contracted this mountain, there had been almost no human activity. Given the school's ability to hide, there was no need to worry about being discovered. He took out a small model of a building and visualized the school entrance in his mind. Moments later, the small model emitted a faint light, shooting into the void ahead. A stone stele, taller than a person, appeared right in the center of the mountaintop plaza. The words Super God Academy were written in strong, powerful calligraphy on the stele. The side of the stele shimmered like the surface of a sparkling lake stood upright, seemingly separating two vastly different worlds. A golden badge appeared in Fang Juyu's hand, engraved with the Fang family's totem. This gateway was invisible to ordinary people. Only those with this badge could sense the existence of this gate, which Fang Jueyu designated as the school emblem. All right, host, the school has been completed. The folded space has been constructed in another space, and you can enter anytime. Fang Jueyu was a bit excited and a bit nervous. It was like opening the door to a whole new world. He stepped forward and instantly disappeared from the mountaintop. A blinding light made it difficult for him to open his eyes, but once he adjusted, he was stunned. This space was like a new world filled with a futuristic vibe. A massive gemstone hung in the sky, emitting endless light, as if it illuminated this entire world. Host, this gemstone is an artificial star created by a level 3 civilization. Through complex reactions, it can release sufficient heat and light, and even provide the entire school with a continuous supply of energy. Fang Jueyu continued to appraise the place. The school had towering, silver-white buildings full of a technological feel, as well as ancient, traditional wooden houses. There were nurseries filled with exotic flowers and herbs, as well as picturesque scenes with small bridges and flowing water. My goodness, Fang Jueyu's mouth was wide open, almost enough to fit an egg. After experiencing so much, he thought his mental strength was strong enough, but the scene was still overwhelming. Host, you now hold the highest authority in this intelligent school. You can authorize anyone to enter and freely utilize any resources within the school. So can I freely study here? Of course. Woof woof, the dog on Fang Jueyu's shoulder suddenly barked. Principal, this old monk greets you in this manner. Almost at the same time, an old yet robust voice came from behind him. Fang Jueyu turned around to see an elderly man dressed in a gray monk's robe, holding a broom, with white hair and a beard, smiling at him. When did you appear? Fang Jueyu was startled. With his current perception abilities, unless someone was far superior, they could easily kill him without effort. It was known that without the school emblem given by Fang Jueyu, Gogh could not enter this space. If this elderly man harbored ill intentions towards him, he would have already been dead. Host, don't panic. This is the school's intelligent robot. It's only in this form according to your father's design. According to Huaxia people's terms, this character should be the sweeping monk. Hugh scared me. Fang Jueyu patted the dog on his shoulder, surprised by its level of alertness, earning its reputation as a soul-devouring beast. Master, may I ask who you are? Principal, I am the school's gatekeeper, the sweeping monk said politely. Host, these robot models are very advanced, Zhao said. When all the energy is fully activated, they can almost exhibit initial-level divine ability user combat power. So powerful, Fang Jueyu exclaimed. Even Zhuang Xinyan's subordinates didn't have divine ability users. On Earth, only each generation of the Fang family and their spouses might have reached this level right. However, due to school restrictions, these robots cannot leave the school. That's a pity then, Fang Jueyu said regretfully. But since nothing on Earth could bypass Gogh's protection to harm him, it wasn't a concern. Master, where are the other teachers in the school? Fang Jueyu asked. Oh, they've all arrived. The sweeping monk pointed towards the inside of the school. Swordsmanship class teacher Li Xiao reporting. In the sky, a figure riding a longsword approached with the wind. A spirited young man lightly leaped down in front of Fang Jueyu, and the flying sword made a zing sound as it inserted into the scabbard on his back. Culinary class teacher Chinese little chef reporting. With an aroma wafting around, a boy in a white shirt and red vest appeared. Thud, a gigantic robot, 20 meters tall, landed on the school's front plaza. A young man in a white bodysuit descended from the cockpit. Advanced mechanics class teacher Amuro reporting. Advanced Military Class Teachers Yuge Liang reporting. Advanced Military Class Teacher Wang Lang reporting. Yuge the Rustic, why are you here at this school too? Silence, shameless old thief, how dare you bark so wildly here? It might have been Fang Jueyu's doing, but enemies certainly recognize each other at a glance. The two military class teachers immediately squared off upon arrival. After a civilization reached level 4, how many academic disciplines would emerge? This was a question no one could answer. Anyway, Fang Jueyu only knew that if you wanted to learn something, a team of teachers would guide you from introductory to advanced courses in that subject. As for materials and such, there was no need to worry at all. The school could completely simulate them for you. You just couldn't take anything created by the school outside. However, there was one thing. The cosmic source energy in this school was much more abundant than on Earth, and it grew many exotic flowers and herbs beneficial for Fang Jueyu's cultivation of the potential guiding technique. If students came here to study, their speed of cultivation would definitely far exceed that of the outside world. Fang Jueyu wanted to learn everything here, but he feared that even if he spent his entire life, he wouldn't be able to finish learning such a vast amount of knowledge. The next big problem was, how exactly should he start admitting students? Although he had a numerous fan base, he couldn't possibly recruit directly on Weibo, could he? If he did that, there would be only two outcomes. One, he'd be scolded as a lunatic by netizens. Two, the existence of the academy would be exposed, and he'd be treated as an oddball. Regardless of the outcome, Fang Jueyu didn't wish to face it. Even though he wasn't afraid to be an enemy to the world, he hadn't played enough yet, and his task of unlocking secondary permissions still needed completion. Oh well, take it one step at a time. After all, there are still 3 years, so there's no rush. It's always hardest at the beginning, and Fang Jueyu knew that the most difficult thing was recruiting the first student. But similarly, he couldn't just admit anyone. At the very least, they needed to have good character since he was to cultivate his own followers. If someone studied the technology knowledge ahead of the time at the Super God Academy and went outside to cause havoc, wouldn't that cause a huge commotion? Since the new member, Guzi, appeared in Fang Jueyu's home, he had an additional new task before going for an internship every day, walking the dog. Although possessing noble soul-devouring beast blood, Guzi exhibited behaviors almost identical to an ordinary dog, except that it understood human speech. Guzi grew rapidly. In just 1 week, it matured to about the size of a typical small dog. Its appetite increased by the day, and Fang Jueyu fed it premium dog food daily. If someone knowledgeable knew that Fang Jueyu was raising a soul-devouring beast as a dog, they might go insane, right? But in Fang Jueyu's heart, whatever it was, as long as it didn't destroy the house or cause trouble, all was good. There was a large park in the Jiangnan Garden where Fang Jueyu lived. After all, he and his employees weren't the only ones living in the entire community. Many people would exercise, walk, or walk their dogs in this park. However, Guzi was quite wild. Every time Fang Jueyu took him out for a walk, he would vanish without a trace, sometimes playing around with other dogs, occasionally harassing other people's little female dogs. Could it already have that ability just a week from birth? But after all, they were different species, and reproductive isolation should prevent the little female dogs from giving birth to some bizarre creatures, right? Yo, little Fang, out for a walk again. An elder greeted Fang Jueyu warmly. Yes, Grandpa Bai, you're as early as ever, Fang Jueyu responded. This Grandpa Bai was named Bai Ruhai and was also a resident of the Jiangnan Garden. Previously, Fang Jueyu didn't interact much with other property owners in the community, but recently with frequent dog walks here, he naturally met many people, including Bai Ruhai, who practiced boxing here almost every morning. Did your dog go wild again? Bai Ruhai asked. Yes, Fang Jueyu chuckled bitterly. This Guzi gets so cooped up at home that every time he comes out, it's like he goes crazy and I can't control him. But Guzi had one good point. No matter how crazy or wild it got, it would always return to his side in at most half an hour. Grandpa Bai's boxing style seems to have some routines. Fang Jueyu watched Bai Ruhai box while sitting on the edge of the pavilion, seeing his powerful punches and very stable stance, completely unlike an ordinary 80-year-old man. What's so strange about that? This old man's biological current is no weaker than yours. Not to mention boxing, he could run up 10 floors without even panting, Xiao Yi said. Biological current. Could Grandpa Bai be one of our family's people? In Fang Jueyu's concept, There were only distinctions between hidden elementers and superpower users, and biological current was aroused by the potential guiding technique. That he is not, Xiaoyi said. Your Huaxia is also a civilization with a long history, and it isn't strange for them to have explored some rudimentary methods to activate biological current. According to you Huaxians, this method is called the ancient martial arts system, and this old man should be considered a master of force transform. Is there really such a thing? Fang Jueyu thought ancient martial arts were all made up. TV shows had debunked it many times, and those self-proclaimed ancient martial arts masters were knocked out in less than a round when facing professional martial arts fighters. Of course, in your Huaxia, ancient martial arts currently mainly divide into the innate and acquired. Acquired martial artists split into bright force, dark force, force transform, and Dan force, similar in strength to ordinary superpower users. As for an innate martial artist, their combat strength equals that of a junior hidden elementer. What's above innate? There's also the heavenly human realm and divinity transformation realm, equating to intermediate hidden elementers and top hidden elementers, respectively. But as far as I know, your Huaxia only has a few ancient figures at the heavenly human realm. It seems no one has ever reached the divinity transformation realm. It's strange. If such people exist, how come I've never heard of them? Well, that's no surprise. These ancient martial families possess power far beyond secular understanding, like superpower users. They cannot be shown openly. Moreover, the nation also manages them through specialized departments. Most of them live in seclusion, but their connections span the globe. After all, everyone needs to eat. Many of Huaxia's major corporations are controlled by members of these families, so their influence over the secular world is still significant. I see. Fang Jueyu realized that he seemed to have a somewhat superficial understanding of this society. So, are you saying Grandpa Bai is also from an ancient martial family? Probably, Xiaoyi said, but you needn't focus much. What they cultivate is too basic. Compared to my potential guiding technique, it's nothing. Even if they practice to death, only a few could become hidden elementers. That's true. Fang Jueyu didn't take it to heart, purely treating it as gaining knowledge. After all, being the most distinguished person on Earth, he hadn't even understood his home's backyard fully. How could he speak of leaving Earth for the universe in the future? Strange, it's already been half an hour. Why hasn't Guzi come back yet? Fang Jueyu checked the time. Usually within no more than half an hour, he would come trotting back for food. Woof woof. Just as Fang Jueyu was feeling puzzled, a commotion came from not far away, with cries and chaotic barking. That's Guzi's voice. Fang Jueyu naturally knew his own dog's voice best. Could it have bitten someone? Grandpa Bai, it seems my dog got into trouble. I'll go check. Fang Jueyu leaped down from the pavilion's seat, sprinting lightly towards the direction of the noise. Bai Ruhai's eyes showed a slight surprise. As someone who had practiced ancient martial arts for decades, he immediately recognized Fang Jueyu's extraordinary movement. This young man is not simple. I didn't expect this community to have hidden talents, ha. The property prices in Jiang and Biyuan were extremely high. Those who could live in this community were either wealthy or noble, and many rich bosses bought properties here to settle their parents and children. Once people have money, they no longer need to hustle for a living. Their only pursuit is how to gain longevity, so those elderly folks took great care in maintaining their health, practicing Tai Chi every morning and taking leisurely strolls, which were nearly part of their daily routine. Of course, they would sometimes bring along their grandchildren. On the other side of the park, inside and outside Lakefront Square, a lot of people were gathered around. Among the crowd was an elderly woman, and beside her was a little girl around 5 or 6 years old with pigtails. The little girl was very cute, but her trouser leg was torn open, revealing a noticeable bite mark, with blood continuously seeping from the wound. Holy crap! Fang Jueyu had emphasized several times to Guzi never to tear things up at home or bite people, or it would never get delicious food again. It had clearly agreed obediently, so why was it biting people here? Excuse me, please make way. Fang Jueyu hurried and squeezed into the crowd. If Guzi really bit someone, then as its owner, he couldn't escape responsibility. He had to take responsibility for the injured little girl. But when he rushed to the front, he found that things weren't what he imagined. Not far away, a nearly meter-high Caucasian shepherd dog was in a standoff with Guzi. The Caucasian shepherd dog had blood and strips of cloth on its mouth. From the color of the cloth, it was easy to see that they were torn from the little girl's trouser leg. Next to the Caucasian shepherd dog was a flamboyantly dressed young woman with heavy makeup, looking disdainfully at the crying little girl. She was probably the owner of that Caucasian shepherd dog. Woof woof woof. The Caucasian shepherd dog kept growling warningly at Urguzi but didn't dare to move forward. Despite the huge size difference, instinct made the Caucasian shepherd dog act very cautiously towards Urguzi. "Sir, what happened?" Fang Jueyu wasn't worried that Urguzi would be bitten by the Caucasian shepherd dog. As someone comparable to a B-level superpower user, he couldn't even grab Urguzi, let alone a dog. If they really fought, who knew who'd have the worse fate? With a quick glance, Fang Jueyu suddenly noticed a bite mark on the leg of the Caucasian shepherd dog. He instantly understood that the big guy had clearly suffered at Urguzi's hands. "Young man, I was taking a walk by the lake with my granddaughter when that dog suddenly went crazy and started chasing and biting her. If it weren't for that little black dog, my granddaughter's leg would have been bitten off," the elderly woman explained while comforting the little girl with a pained expression. Fang Jueyu glanced at the Caucasian shepherd dog. It's one of the largest powerful dogs in the world. Though extremely fierce, they're very loyal to their owners and don't attack humans for no reason, so why did it suddenly bite someone? Could that dog be rabid? Fang Jueyu speculated. Fang Jueyu looked at the little girl's injury. The Caucasian shepherd dog was an adult, with terrifying bite force, so much so that the little girl's leg bone showed slight fractures. The injury was quite severe. Fang Jueyu introduced his biological current into the little girl's body, slightly slowing the bleeding from her wound and eliminating any viruses in the wound. "Is this black dog yours?" the woman asked with her nose in the air. "Yes, I'm the owner of this little black dog," Fang Jueyu replied. "Your dog injured my dog. Mine's a purebred Caucasian shepherd dog worth tens of thousands. What do you plan to do about it?" "What?" Fang Jueyu even doubted if he heard it wrong. This woman's dog bit the little girl, yet she showed no guilt and was shamelessly accusing others first. "Miss, your dog is a large breed. City regulations require leashes for large dogs. Your dog bit the little girl. You should at least give an explanation, don't you think?" "That brat's parents didn't look after their child properly. What's it got to do with me?" the flamboyant woman said arrogantly. "Bad luck for me. Name a price then." "Miss, how can you have such an attitude after your dog bit someone?" The elderly woman became angry. "You should come with us to the hospital. The compensation and responsibility will be determined by the doctor." "I don't have time for that," the woman said impatiently. She had made an appointment with friends for a beauty session in the morning, and a trip to the hospital would take up quite some time. Plus, she recently got a new car, and if the little girl's blood dirtied it, cleaning would cost a lot. "Hey, you two, your mongrel bit my Caucasian shepherd. As its owner, you should take responsibility, right?" As soon as she spoke, even the bystanders couldn't stand it anymore. They've seen shameless people before, but never someone so shameless. If not for the timely appearance of the little black dog, the little girl might have lost her entire leg, and even the elderly woman could have been injured. Yet this woman had the gall to demand accountability. "Take responsibility. If your dog can get a bite in on mine, go ahead and let it happen," Fang Jueyu mocked. "Such a big dog and it can't even bite my Urguzi. What's the point of keeping it? To make stew?" "You'll regret this," the woman said sharply. Her Caucasian shepherd dog was a purebred brought over from abroad, with its sire being a properly trained fighting dog. Her dog might not have been formally trained, but its aggressiveness was unmatched by ordinary dogs. Fang Jueyu's little black dog's injury to her Caucasian shepherd dog was merely an accident in her eyes. After all, it just suddenly leapt out from the side, unexpectedly. In a direct confrontation, it would definitely be bitten to death by her Caucasian shepherd dog in one round. "Relax. If your dog can kill my Urguzi, I won't utter a single complaint. But if your dog gets hurt, don't blame me," Fang Jueyu chuckled coldly. "Duke, bite it." The woman crouched down and lightly patted the Caucasian shepherd dog's back. She intended to let her dog bite Fang Jueyu's dog to death. What a wicked woman. It was Fang Jueyu's first time encountering someone like her, wondering what sort of environment could produce such an unreasonable and ruthless person. "Doggy, don't go." Surprisingly, the little girl stopped crying at this moment. Though young and naive, she knew that with such a big size difference, the little black dog that saved her would inevitably be bitten if they fought. "It's okay." Fang Jueyu patted the little girl's head. "If this Caucasian shepherd dog could even pluck a hair from Urguzi, it would be astonishing." "Urguzi, give it a good beating. No need to hold back," Fang Jueyu said. "Woof," Urguzi barked, seemingly responding to Fang Juyu's command. Duke, what are you doing? The Caucasian shepherd dog glared angrily at Urguzi, but was reluctant to make a move. The woman immediately became anxious and kicked its rear with her pointy high heel. Fang Juyu's suspicion was correct. This Caucasian shepherd dog indeed suffered from mania. Its father had endured extreme stress throughout a long career in dog fighting, which was highly cruel, and had developed severe mania with a hereditary tendency. This mania was easily triggered by external stimuli, and once it flared up, it became aggressive toward anything except its owner. The sharp pain stimulated the dog's nerves instantly. The impulse overcame its fear, and it roared as it charged at Urguzi. That's it, that little black dog is doomed. The crowd watching eagerly couldn't help but step back, worried the frenzied dog would harm them. This little girl served as the best example, given the woman's rude demeanor. Even if they were bitten, they wouldn't expect satisfactory compensation. Some people even turned their heads, not wanting to witness the little black dog being mauled to death by the Caucasian shepherd dog. However, events did not unfold as they imagined. Urguzi jumped lightly, effortlessly dodging the attack of the Caucasian shepherd dog. It landed steadily on its back, instead biting out a gruesome wound on the dog's back. Urguzi's bite strength was astonishing. Even Fang Juyu's crystal coffee table was full of bite marks. Chewing on steel was akin to chewing on cookies, let alone ordinary flesh and blood. "Owa," the Caucasian shepherd dog cried out in pain. It had never suffered such a loss in a one-on-one confrontation with other dogs. Instinctively, it rolled on the ground, trying to throw Urguzi off its back. Yet Urguzi was incredibly agile. As soon as it fell, Urguzi flipped off its back, performing a beautiful 360-degree spin in midair and landing gracefully on the ground. This display amazed the crowd. In their minds, dog fights were nothing but frantic biting. With such a size difference, the Caucasian shepherd dog should easily pin the black dog to the ground and grind it, but it was the one being shown up. The Caucasian shepherd dog grew more frantic, but Urguzi calmly dodged each bite, occasionally retaliating as if it were playing with it. "Oh my God, has this black dog learned martial arts? What breed is this dog? It's unbelievably powerful. I've never seen such an amazing dog. If this continues, that Caucasian shepherd dog will exhaust itself to death." The onlookers whispered amongst themselves, though most were elderly and children, unable to recognize Fang Jueyu. Finally, after a few minutes of entanglement, the Caucasian shepherd dog's strength gave out. The wounds on its body left it extremely weak. It was no longer a threat to life, but had no combat power left. Thud, the burly Caucasian shepherd dog collapsed in front of the shorter Urguzi. "Woof woof woof." Urguzi strutted around the Caucasian shepherd dog triumphantly, then elegantly lifted its left hind leg in a victor's pose next to its head. Whoosh! A warm stream of urine splashed directly onto the Caucasian shepherd dog's face. "Ha ha ha, well done." Fang Jueyu praised Urguzi, then pulled a black pill out of his pocket and tossed it to it. Urguzi leaped lightly and caught the pill with precision, then showed a satisfied expression. What Fang Jueyu threw was not dog food, but a medicinal pill he discovered a while ago. Knowing that Urguzi ate anything, he tried feeding it a pill that helped with cultivation. Unexpectedly, it worked on Urguzi, which seemed to enjoy eating it. It appeared to accelerate its growth rate. "Duke," the woman hurried to the side of the Caucasian shepherd dog. It lay there weakly, looking at its owner and whimpering. "You better remember this." The woman glared at Fang Jueyu with resentment. "Are you threatening me?" Fang Jueyu showed an annoyed expression. The woman's pestering had long irritated him. After learning the guiding technique, Fang Jueyu's spiritual power significantly increased, though he was far from Gogh's level of creating illusions, but intimidating an average person wasn't difficult. The intense look in his eyes made the woman's body tremble. She felt a cold, killing intent emanating from Fang Jueyu, like she had fallen into an ice cave. A foul odor came from the woman. She had been scared to wet herself by Fang Jueyu's presence. "Damn, am I really that powerful?" Even Fang Jueyu was surprised by the strength of his mental pressure. The mix of dog urine and her urine smell made the surrounding people frown. The woman lowered her head in shame, losing all her belligerence and courage to even look at Fang Jueyu. Only then did she realize the neighborhood didn't revolve solely around her status and power. There were more affluent people, and such a demeanor couldn't belong to an ordinary person. At that moment, a middle-aged man and a middle-aged woman rushed over, faces marked by extreme anxiety. Mom, is Zio all right? They were probably the girl's parents. Tears streaked the elderly woman's face, unsure about the seriousness of the girl's injury. Better take her to the hospital quickly. The wound has reached the bone, Fang Jueyu said. That dog seems to have some issues. You should take it seriously. Mom, who is this? The man turned his gaze toward Fang Jueyu. Oh right, it was this young man and his dog who saved Zio. If it weren't for that little black dog, Zio would have been bitten even worse. The elderly woman spoke hurriedly. Young man, thank you. The middle-aged man handed him a business card. If you ever have any trouble, feel free to contact me. Fang Jueyu glanced at the card. Liu Anren, party secretary of Jiangnan City. Wow, a big shot from Jiangnan City. Fang Jueyu wasn't too concerned, having met with the chief twice already. Liu Anren glanced at the Caucasian shepherd dog, then at Guzi, who was now napping on Fang Juyu's shoulder, and showed a puzzled expression. Is it really your little black dog that did this to that dog? Oh yes, my Guzi learned martial arts. Fang Jueyu joked. If he claimed Guzi was a soul-devouring beast, Liu Anren would probably consider him insane. Seeing Liu Anren's bewildered look, Fang Jueyu laughed. Let's not worry about my dog. Taking Zio to the hospital is more important. You're right, Liu Anren nodded. Young man, I must treat you to a meal to thank you someday. He quickly carried the little girl away, not forgetting to cast a glance at the woman, indicating that this matter, having harmed his daughter, wouldn't be easily settled. Brother, is your dog for sale? I'll pay any price. Fang Jueyu was just about to leave when a young man's voice suddenly called out to him. Sorry, my dog here only recognizes me as its owner. I'm not selling, Fang Jueyu refused. Wait, you're the dean. The young man, who hadn't seen clearly from afar, now realized that the dog's owner was Fang Jueyu, who happened to live in the same neighborhood. Dean, what breed is this dog? Where did you get it? I want one too. Earlier, he had watched the spectacle of the dog playing with that Caucasian shepherd dog from start to finish. Well, Fang Jueyu didn't quite know how to answer. It's just a regular black dog, nothing special. Maybe it's just a bit more agile than other dogs. Tusk, the dean's dog is quite extraordinary too. The young man actually believed Fang Jueyu's nonsense. At this moment, the dog on Fang Jueyu's shoulder lazily opened its eyes and lifted its paw, showing a disdainful expression. If it could separate its fingers, Fang Jueyu would suspect that it was about to flip the middle one. Ha, sorry, my dog can be a bit haughty and doesn't like it when people keep talking about money, Fang Jueyu laughed. The young man immediately rolled his eyes. Wasn't he the one always talking about money? Shouldn't his dog have despised him already? All right, if that's the case, never mind. The young man showed a disappointed expression, exchanged some pleasantries with Fang Jueyu, and left on his own. Wow, I didn't expect to run into something like this just taking a walk with my dog, Fang Jueyu thought with a mix of amusement and annoyance. However, that woman deserved it. If his dog were an ordinary one, it might have been bitten to death. Well done, I'll reward you with a sausage later when we get back. At the mention of sausage, the dog immediately perked up. Stupid dog, all you think about is food. Fang Jueyu retraced his steps, and by then, Bai Ruhai had finished his morning exercise, with a young girl around 20 by his side, likely his granddaughter. Zio Fang, did you find your dog? Yeah, ran into a bit of trouble, but it's all sorted now, Fang Jueyu replied. Oh right, let me introduce you. This is my granddaughter, Bai Yu, Bai Ruhai pointed at the girl beside him. And this is... I know Dean Fang, who hasn't heard of his name in all of Huaxia, Bai Yu said with a hint of sarcasm. Fang Jueyu's fame in Huaxia was soaring, even beginning to overshadow Wang Kong. Among the youth, almost everyone knew of him, but Bai Yu apparently didn't think much of him. In Bai Yu's mind, Fang Jueyu was almost a bratty rich kid who, despite not doing anything outrageous, spent money like a wastrel. Such a person was unlikely to win her favor. Before getting to know Fang Jueyu, Bai Ruhai had also heard of his reputation and initially thought he was a flamboyant young man. However, after getting acquainted, he found Fang Jueyu to be polite and without the typical faults of wealthy people, unlike the online rumors suggesting he just threw money around. Hearing Bai Yu's tone, Bai Ruhai felt somewhat awkward. It seemed his granddaughter had a dislike for Fang Jueyu. Grandpa, I still have my internship today. I'll take off now. Since the others weren't interested in him, Fang Jueyu naturally didn't see a need to linger and endure her cold shoulder. All right, see you tomorrow. Bai Ruhai gave an apologetic glance. Fang Jueyu smiled and shook his head. He didn't hope for everyone to like him. Grandpa, Grandpa. Just as Fang Jueyu had taken a couple of steps, an urgent call came from behind him. Turning around, Fang Jueyu saw Bai Ruhai in pain, curled up on the ground, trembling, as if covered with a layer of ice-cold frost. What's going on? Fang Jueyu rushed up. My grandpa's old ailment flared up. Bai Yu hurriedly searched her belongings but couldn't find what she was looking for. Oh no, I was in such a rush I forgot the medicine. Fang Jueyu grabbed Bai Ruhai's wrist, and a biological current flowed through him into Bai Ruhai's body. Is it a superpower? Fang Juyu's expression changed. In fact, superpower was another form of biological current, only affected by cosmic source power, resulting in variations with different characteristics. Powers of the same level were slightly stronger than biological currents, but once transformed into cosmic source power, their might became unfathomable, which was why hidden elementers were stronger than superpower users. Inside Bai Ruhai's body lay a dormant cold superpower, perhaps suppressed by his biological current, hence it hadn't erupted. But once it built up for a while, it would result in a severe eruption, devastating to the body. To completely eliminate this superpower, at least an innate martial artist was needed. But such masters were rare in all of Huaxia, and while their ancient martial family was large, they didn't have the means to enlist an innate martial artist. Why does your grandpa have a cold superpower in his body? Fang Jueyu asked. You actually know about superpowers. Bai Yu had always thought Fang Jueyu was just an ordinary rich guy. Their family, too, had unrivaled wealth in the mundane world, so she didn't think highly of him even if he was richer than the Bai family. Ordinary people were just ordinary people. But now she finally realized Fang Jueyu wasn't as simple as she'd imagined. Answer my question first, Fang Jueyu demanded. My grandpa fought a superpower user from North America over 10 years ago. The opponent was an ice superpower user. My grandpa injured him, but his superpower seeped into my grandpa's body. Over the years, he's relied on an alchemist's medicine to maintain. But I forgot the medicine today, it's all my fault, Bai Yu said, blaming herself. Calm down. Since you know the cause, there must be a way to help, right? There's a way, but my grandpa is at the force transform level. He's been using his cultivation to forcibly suppress the injury, but the recoil requires at least a force transform expert to barely contain. Bai Yu said, but where can we find a force transform expert now? The number of innate experts in Huaxia could be counted on the fingers of one hand. Force transform and Dan transform experts were already the strongest in most ancient martial families. Xiao Yi, in terms of ancient martial levels, what rank would my biological current be? In terms of strength, it's about dark transform level, but the purity of your biological current is high. It should barely compare to force transform. That's good, Fang Jueyu quickly lifted Bai Ruhai. What are you doing? Bai Yu asked, her face full of caution. What do you think I'm doing? Didn't you say a force transform expert is needed to suppress his condition? I am one. Are you an expert in force transform? How is that possible? Bai Yu showed an expression of disbelief. The cultivation of ancient martial arts was extremely difficult. To progress from clear force to dark force, even someone with outstanding talent needed about 10 years, and to surpass dark force to become a force-transformed expert could take some 30 years. At least one would be in their 40s or 50s by then. Bai Yu had been learning ancient martial arts since she was 5, and she had only reached the early stage of dark force. Her talent was already considered quite impressive, but reaching the level of force transform would take at least another 20 years. Fang Jueyu was just a young man in his 20s, so how could he already be a force-transformed expert? What? You don't believe it? Fang Jueyu's aura suddenly changed from harmless to extremely sharp. Under the influence of spiritual power, this aura was amplified several times, causing Bai Yu to feel slightly pressured in her chest. You really are a force-transformed expert. With Bai Yu's early dark force level, only a force-transformed expert could exert such pressure on her. Her previous contempt for Fang Jueyu vanished without a trace and was even replaced by a bit of respect. In such ancient martial families, strength was the rule. Fang Jueyu's strength had undoubtedly conquered Bai Yu. A force-transformed expert in their early 20s was unheard of. So far, she hadn't heard of any family producing such an outstanding young person. I'm sorry for my earlier rudeness. Could you please save my grandfather? Bai Yu, reflecting on her previous attitude toward Fang Jueyu, suddenly felt uncertain. I'm magnanimous and won't hold a grudge against a young girl, Fang Jueyu said with an air of faux maturity. I've known Grandpa Bai for a long time. Even if we met by chance, I wouldn't stand by and watch him suffer. Although the Super God Academy had just been established a few days ago, Fang Jueyu had already taken quite a few courses. Though they were all beginner courses, they were extremely helpful at this stage. The preliminary mastery of biological currents was one of the foundational courses. In the ancient martial world, biological currents were also known as inner strength. At Super God Academy, the teacher for this class was Zhang Senfeng. Fang Hua had set the abilities of each robotic teacher very reasonably. Although Zhang Senfeng did not practice the potential guiding technique, he had enhanced his strength to the heavenly realm through cultivating inner strength. This was equivalent to a mid-level hidden elementer. Therefore, Zhang Senfeng had a thorough understanding of biological currents. Despite having attended only a few classes, with the assistance of Xiao Yi and his own strong comprehension skills, his accomplishments were on par with the ancient veterans who had been practicing ancient martial arts for decades. Fang Jueyu transferred his biological current into Bai Ruhai's body. Suddenly, that cold superpower attacked him, and Bai Ruhai's biological current was extremely chaotic. Tusk, this little superpower wants to invade my body. Fang Jueyu increased the output of his biological current, gradually suppressing both forces and even repairing the meridians that had been damaged by their clash. A few minutes later, Bai Ruhai's body temperature finally began to rise, and his previously pale face regained some color. Seeing this, Bai Yu finally smiled. Bai Ruhai's injuries appeared temporarily suppressed. All right, your grandfather is fine for now. Help him rest on the stone bench. Fang Jueyu exhaled deeply. That superpower was indeed quite powerful, likely possessed by an A-level or higher superpower user. Thank you, I wouldn't have known what to do without your help. Bai Yu expressed her gratitude. It's nothing, just a small gesture. Fang Jueyu waved his hand. However, your grandfather's condition is not good. If this superpower can't be completely removed, similar incidents will happen again until an accident occurs. I happen to be here this time, but who knows about next time? Fang Jueyu was not exaggerating. Bai Ruhai was very old, and his meridians were not as resilient as those of younger people. Next time could lead to irreversible consequences. But we don't have any solutions. Bai Yu spoke with concern. Given their family's status, they had no right to ask an innate master for help, and they had already paid dearly for an alchemist to prepare the medication that suppressed the injuries. Xiaoyi, do you have any solutions? Fang Jueyu asked. There are many, it just depends on which you want to use, Xiaoyi replied. In about half a year, you can become a hidden elementer, and removing this superpower will be a piece of cake. The few pills left by your ancestors are also more than enough to heal his injuries. But using those pills to treat this injury is quite wasteful, Xiaoyi thought for a moment. Why don't you go to Super God Academy and ask Yao Chen, the teacher who teaches alchemy, to guide you? You'll probably be able to make pills to cure his injuries after a couple of days as an intern. Right, makes sense. Once I learn alchemy myself, I won't have to worry about running out of pills in the future. Fang Jueyu became excited all of a sudden. Alchemy was indeed a great discipline, and the teacher of this course was Yao Chen, who was known as Medicine Venerable, a big shot in the alchemy world. Before long, Bai Ruhai came around. I'm actually okay. Bai Ruhai was surprised to find that the two clashing forces in his body had calmed down. Grandpa, it was Fang Jueyu who saved you. He used inner strength to stabilize your injuries, Bai Yu stated. A flash of shock appeared in Bai Ruhai's eyes. He knew Fang Jueyu was a practitioner, but he hadn't expected someone so young to have such remarkable achievements, almost monstrous. Little Fang, thank you this time. If it weren't for you, these old bones of mine might have been finished today, Bai Ruhai said. You're welcome, Fang Jueyu replied with a smile. But Grandpa Bai, what's the story behind that superpower inside your body? It's something from over 10 years ago, Bai Ruhai explained. A group of superpower users from North America seemed to want to steal important documents in Huaxia. I happened to encounter them with some friends, and we fought, resulting in mutual destruction. A trace of coldness flickered in Fang Jueyu's eyes. In the 21st century, people were still targeting Huaxia. If Fang family had been involved, any hidden elementer could have prevented these North American superpower users from returning alive. But Grandpa Bai, your injuries can't be delayed. Your current doctor is too incompetent. The medicine you've been taking only treats the symptoms, not the root cause. It's bound to lead to problems sooner or later. Little Fang, don't speak recklessly. Bai Ruhai's mouth twitched. That alchemist was renowned across Huaxia's ancient martial world. However, in Fang Juyu's words, he suddenly became incompetent, which could anger the alchemist to the point of slapping him. I'm just speaking the truth, Fang Juyu said. Tell you what, I'll attend an alchemy crash course in a couple of days and I'll take care of your injuries. I guarantee complete recovery. After saying this, Fang Juyu swaggered away with Guzi. Bai Yu and Bai Ruhai exchanged glances. An alchemy crash course. Did he think becoming an alchemist was so easy? There were only 3 people in Huaxia who deserved the title of alchemist, and even advanced alchemists were extremely rare. If it were possible to learn in a few days, then all those who hadn't made any progress in decades would be complete failures, wouldn't they? Zioyi, is there anyone nearby? No, master. Rest assured, there are no signs of human life here except for Guyi, Zioyi replied. Great. Fang Juyu stepped into the air ahead and vanished from the mountaintop. The young master's methods are truly mysterious. Guyi's expression showed no dissatisfaction. For him, guarding the Fang family's secrets was part of his mission. He sat down cross-legged, closed his eyes, and waited for Fang Juyu to reappear as always. Director, you're here again. No sooner had Fang Juyu stepped into the Super God Academy than the monk janitor appeared beside him like a shadow. Yes, it's been a long time, master. Although these beings were robots, the robots of a level 4 civilization were extremely advanced. Their physiological makeup was similar to human flesh and blood, the only difference being that their life activities were not controlled by brains but by the chips in their heads. So with these flesh and blood beings, Fang Juyu couldn't treat them as cold, lifeless machines. Which course does the director plan to experience today? Oh, I want to learn some alchemy from teacher Yao Chen, Fang Juyu said. Teacher Yao Chen is at the Pill Tower. Please feel free, director. The janitor monk bowed respectfully to Fang Juyu and continued sweeping the leaf-covered Academy Plaza. On the Academy Plaza were numerous blue light circles. These circles weren't just for show. The vast Super God Academy was even larger than Earth. It would take ages to traverse it on foot. These circles were the Academy's teleportation system. By choosing your destination, you could be instantly transported to the corresponding building. To the Pill Tower, Fang Juyu stepped into a circle. Instantly, a blue light engulfed him, and in the next moment he appeared before a grand, majestic building. Wow, this is the Pill Tower, Fang Juyu said, looking up at the towering structure that pierced the clouds, easily thousands of meters high. Director, are you here to learn alchemy? A voice came from behind Fang Juyu. Yao Chen's peak strength was half a step to fighting saint, and although Fang Juyu didn't know how the strength of the Du Qi world compared to this world, Yao Chen's power setting was undoubtedly that of a divine ability user, perhaps even stronger than his father. A white-haired old man floated behind Fang Juyu, exuding a deep, unfathomable power. Yao Chen was the highest-ranking alchemy teacher at the entire Super God Academy. Other students wanting to learn alchemy had to start with the basics, taught by lower-level, unknown alchemists. But Fang Juyu, being the director, naturally had some privileges. He could choose any teacher in the entire Super God Academy. Yes, I hope teacher Yao Chen will take good care of me, Fang Juyu said. You're too kind, director. However, since you've never tried alchemy before, I'll start with the basics for you. Yao Chen gestured, and the first floor of the Pill Tower opened. Please, director. Fang Juyu entered the Pill Tower's door, and a rich aroma of pills filled his nostrils. The first floor was filled with various medicine tripods, some tiny and exquisite, others bold and dominating. For alchemy, one first needs a good medicine tripod. A quality tripod not only enhances success rates, but also improves the pill's quality. Yao Chen began teaching Fang Juyu from the basics. With a wave of his hand, a wisp of white flame surged from a pill furnace. With a slight movement of a finger, several medicinal herbs dropped into the furnace, quickly roasted into a few drops of crystalline medicine liquid. The medicine liquid started spinning rapidly, slowly condensing into a pill. Under Yao Chen's precise control, pill patterns appeared on the surface, and a rich fragrance wafted through the air. Director, this is the entire alchemy process. Each step is essential. Mastery comes with practice, and now you can give it a try. I'll guide you, Yao Chen instructed. Not far from the Pill Tower lay a vast medicine garden. Thanks to an artificial star's light and energy, countless precious herbs grew there. The only pity was that besides knowledge, nothing from this school could be taken away. A hidden elementer could use their cosmic source power to condense high-temperature flames for alchemy, but Fang Jueyu's current strength was insufficient. He had to rely on external forces for ignition, using his biological current and spiritual power to control the temperature. Unfortunately, the alchemy process didn't seem so smooth. He struggled even with the step of extracting the essence of the medicine liquid from the herbs. Yet another precious herb ended up completely ruined on the medicine tripod. Sorry, Teacher Yao Chen, I messed up again. Director, alchemy is inherently challenging. Don't blame yourself, we can keep trying, Yao Chen consoled affectionately. Since you say so, I won't hold back. Fang Jueyu, full of confidence, briskly walked to the medicine field, casually grabbing another herb. After hours of practice, he had already depleted a small patch. This is a 2,000-year-old dragon beard grass. Yao Chen was heartbroken, knowing that although the artificial star accelerated plant growth, it wasn't instantaneous. Oh dear, failed again, let me try again. A 1,500-year-old purple petal flower. Strange, was the fire too strong? It was burnt to a crisp in no time. Fang Jueyu dejectedly dumped the charred remnants from the medicine tripod and ran back to the medicine field. 1,700-year-old dragon phoenix grass. 900-year-old purple blood ginseng. A 3,200-year-old dragon heart vine. Director, please have mercy. Stop burning them, Yao Chen pleaded, even as tears streamed down his cheeks. Though a robot, he simulated human emotions, genuinely pained by Fang Jueyu's wastefulness in the medicine field. If he personally handled that pile of herbs, he could have refined pills to create many experts. But that pile of blackened residue, if dumped in any small grove on Earth, would soon turn it into fertile land. It's fine, such a big garden, I can practice more. Fang Jueyu fully embraced his talent for extravagance. No problem, if we run out, I'll call my dad to send more materials. Then please carry on. The foundation of the entire Super God Academy was funded by Fang Jueyu. As a high-intelligence biomachine, Yao Chen knew exactly how much wealth Fang Jueyu possessed. Even if Fang Jueyu exhausted all precious herbs, they could always buy more. After 2.5 days of intense practice, Fang Jueyu finally grasped some techniques. The extraction, condensation, and pill formation processes were smoothly overcome one by one. When the first complete pill appeared in the medicine furnace, Yao Chen shed grateful tears. At last, Fang Jueyu no longer needed to ruin the poor herbs in the nursery. Although Fang Jueyu spent most of his time at the Super God Academy these past few days, aside from his internship, he still kept his habit of walking the dog during the day. It seemed because of his health that he hadn't seen Bai Ruhai at their usual spot. Fang Jueyu knew where Bai Ruhai lived. They lived quite close to each other. Fang Jueyu found his villa, but Bai Ruhai wasn't home. Only a housekeeper responsible for cleaning was there. After asking around, he found out that Bai Ruhai's son had taken him away the night his old injury flared up, saying he had invited a very skilled doctor to treat Bai Ruhai. Oh well, if he's not here, then never mind. They probably didn't take my words seriously anyway. Fang Jueyu chuckled to himself. They didn't invite him over to help, and he couldn't just invite himself, could he? Urguzi, let's head back. Fang Jueyu patted Urguzi's head on his shoulder. Woof, Urguzi nodded intelligently. As it happened, just as he turned around, he saw Bai Yu walking in this direction. However, she was looking worried today. Could it be that something happened to Bai Ruhai again? After taking Bai Ruhai back that day, his condition remained relatively stable, but the family was well aware that the frequency of his injury flare-ups had been increasing. If they couldn't find a way to completely eradicate the injury, it would likely become more dangerous. Her father, Bai Zun, had paid a significant price to invite an alchemy master on the verge of becoming an alchemist from another ancient martial family to help treat Bai Ruhai's injury. However, that master made a ridiculous demand, asking for a family heirloom from the Bai family in exchange. Long ago, the Bai family had produced an alchemist with a bit of luck who obtained an excellent medicine tripod. The alchemist seemed to have gotten wind of this and demanded the medicine tripod as the price for his assistance. This medicine tripod was an ancestral heirloom. How could Bai Ruhai possibly be willing to part with it? But Bai Zun thought differently. Their alchemy technique had long been lost. Even having the medicine tripod held no practical use. Although there were still a decent number of alchemists nowadays, their student admission standards were very stringent. Alchemy was their trade secret, and they wouldn't teach their students without reservation. Under such circumstances, For the Bai family to produce an alchemist to inherit this ancestral treasure was even more unrealistic. After a day of deliberation, Bai Zun decided to secretly invite the alchemist without informing his father. Bai Ruhai had long stepped down from his position as head of the family, residing in the Jiangnan villa just to enjoy his twilight years. The medicine tripod was kept in the villa where he lived, and Bai Yu had come to retrieve it. I recently learned alchemy, so I thought I'd check on Grandpa Bai and completely heal his injury while I'm at it. You learned alchemy in 2 days. Bai Yu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. In 2 days, one couldn't even fully understand the properties of various medicines, let alone practice alchemy. Even for an alchemist, it required decades of accumulation and experience. What? You don't believe me? Fang Jueyu saw Bai Yu's expression and knew what she was thinking. I told you I attended a crash course on alchemy. If you knew who my teacher was, you'd change that look on your face. Who's your teacher? Bai Yu instinctively asked, but regretted it right away. Even if his teacher was one of the 3 existing alchemy masters, it was impossible to teach him alchemy in just 2 days, right? My teacher is Yao Chen, known as the Medicine Venerable. Lunatic? Bai Yu cursed. She felt she must be crazy to have this nonsensical banter with a deluded kid. Why didn't he just claim Emperor Yan Zhao Yan taught him his martial arts? Hey, why are you insulting me? Fang Jueyu was immediately unhappy. I'm sincerely trying to help your grandfather, and yet you don't appreciate it. Idiot, Bai Yu cursed again and went straight inside the villa, ignoring Fang Jueyu. Not long after, Bai Yu came out holding a square box, which seemed to contain something quite substantial. Host, what that young lady is carrying is a medicine tripod, Zhao Yi suddenly said. This medicine tripod seems familiar. You've seen it before. Oh right, this medicine tripod was left by your ancestor, Zhao Yi suddenly recalled. Before he left Earth, he had taken a kid as a student but only taught him for a few months. That kid seemed to have the surname Bai. What a coincidence, Fang Jueyu smiled slightly. It seemed he had some connection with the Bai family. He certainly couldn't just stand by and do nothing. Descendants of his ancestors' students needed his help after all. Hey Bai Yu, do you recognize this? Fang Jueyu took a pill out of his pocket. This pill was called a fasting pill, and taking one meant a person wouldn't need to eat for nearly a month. However, Urguzi was a big eater, and common food couldn't fill his bottomless stomach. Therefore, Fang Jueyu had to be extravagant and feed it fasting pills. When Bai Yu saw that Fang Jueyu was still hanging around, she wanted to scold him, but when she caught sight of the fasting pill in his hand, her gaze changed. Although she didn't practice alchemy, she had at least seen it done. This pill was smooth and full, with intricate patterns resembling those crafted by renowned alchemy masters. Dan lines, the most distinctive feature of alchemical pills. Some alchemists could extract the essence of medicine and condense it into pills, but their pills didn't form Dan lines, and their efficacy was worlds apart. But regardless of the type of pill, even the most basic, only an alchemist could produce it. Is this a pill? Bai Yu asked. Duh, what else would it be, a booger? Where did you get it? I stole it, Fang Jueyu replied grumpily. He had kindly come to help yet was called a lunatic. He was the richest man in the world, okay? People sought his help, not the other way around. When had he ever been treated like this? He turned and left, tossing the fasting pill into Urguzi's mouth as he went. Urguzi chewed contentedly, burped loudly, and showed a satisfied expression. You actually feed pills to your dog. Bai Yu was so angry she could have killed Fang Jueyu. Any pill on the market was priceless, yet he used it as dog food. Did I use your family's ingredients? Did I use your family's medicine tripod? Did I use your family's gas? Fang Jueyu turned around and said with a provoking tone, pills I made myself, feeding them to the dog, got a problem. Goodbye, Fang Jueyu waved his hand. Although Bai Yu was quite filial, she seemed a bit reckless, and her temper was a bit fiery. She was probably not going to get married. Fang Jueyu, wait a minute. Bai Yu seized onto him like a lifeline, regardless of whether Fang Jueyu could actually perform alchemy, but at the very least, he definitely knew someone who could. What do you want? Didn't you just call me crazy? I'm leaving now. I'm sorry, I was just too anxious earlier. I was merely eager to save my grandfather. Bai Yu, in her haste, began to tear up. Hey, I was just joking, don't cry. Fang Jueyu couldn't stand seeing girls cry, even if Bai Yu wasn't particularly likable. Can you ask that alchemist to save my grandfather? No matter what the conditions are, we can negotiate. Bai Yu knew that the success rate of an alchemist helping was far greater than that of an ordinary alchemist. For such a small matter, my teacher doesn't need to step in. I can handle it myself, Fang Jueyu said confidently. Bai Ruhai's small injury could be healed with just the most basic body tempering pill. According to the pill's grade, it could be from 1st grade to 9th grade, and the body tempering pill was only a 1st grade pill. After 2.5 days of Yao Chen's guidance, his theoretical foundation and practical operation skills had almost reached the level of a 2nd grade alchemist. Once he became a hidden elementer, he could even refine 3rd grade pills, and such a trivial body tempering pill was nothing to him. However, these words seemed nearly impossible to Bai Yu. She thought Fang Jueyu was mad at her and unwilling to ask his teacher for help. Fang Jueyu, I'm begging you to help my grandfather. As she spoke, tears began pouring down her face again. All right, don't cry. Fang Jueyu was truly at his wit's end. Here, I'll go with you to see your grandfather first. If I can't heal him, I'll find my teacher. Is that okay? Really? Bai Yu knew such an alchemy master wouldn't easily make an appearance, but since Fang Jueyu said this, it at least represented a glimmer of hope. Would I joke around with you when I move billions in minutes? After thinking about it, Bai Yu realized Fang Jueyu's words made sense. There was no benefit in deceiving her, and besides, with so much money, he had no need to plot anything against their family. Hurry up, let's take a look at your grandfather early so I can get back sooner, Fang Jueyu urged. All right. Not far away, a red Maserati was parked in a parking spot. It was probably Bai Yu's usual car, and as members of an ancient martial family, their material life was quite good. Bai Yu informed him that these ancient martial families couldn't casually expose themselves to the public eye. Much like superpower users, their existence was very secretive, and ordinary people couldn't easily come into contact with them, so they lived far away from urban areas. The Bai family's estate was more than 100 kilometers north of Jiangnan City, in an area mostly covered by mountains and forests, giving it an otherworldly feel. Though not as grand as the Ladinic family or the Rothschild family, the Bai family's estate was quite large. From afar, Fang Jueyu could sense several powerful auras. Host, there are 6 force-transformed martial artists here. The rest are minuscule with only 5 points of combat power. It's far inferior to the Ladinic family. Fang Jueyu scoffed. These ancient martial families put on a facade of superiority and mystery, but they had limited resources. In terms of martial strength, the Bai family wasn't even 1/10 of the Rothschild family. Under Bai Yu's guidance, Fang Jueyu smoothly entered the Bai family's main courtyard. They weaved through the maze-like paths and reached the deepest part of the entire estate. There was an antiquated courtyard here, with several middle-aged men and women pacing back and forth. Apart from them, an old man with an aura of otherworldliness sat in meditation. Dad, I'm back, Bai Yu called out. Did you bring it? Bai Zun hurried over. The other 2 middle-aged people looked somewhat similar to Bai Zun, likely his clan brothers. Brought it. Bai Yu quickly handed over the box containing the medicine tripod. That's great. Bai Zun received the medicine tripod, glancing momentarily at Fang Jueyu before asking, Yu, who is this? Oh Dad, this is someone I invited. An alchemist. Bai Yu initially intended to say alchemist but knew Bai Zun would think she was crazy. Nonsense. Indeed, Bai Zun immediately blew his beard and glared, criticizing. The Bai family's mansion is not a place where random people can be brought in carelessly. All right, Mr. Bai, it's just a young man bluffing. Miss Bai is young and it's normal for her to be naive, but now is not the time to pursue these trivial matters. I suggest we focus on treating Mr. Bai's injuries. The old man who had been meditating opened his eyes. His aura was quite potent, and he likely had a force-transform level of martial arts. I'll deal with you later. Bai Zun glared at Bai Yu, then respectfully presented the box to the old man. The old man took the box, a flash of greed briefly appearing on his face. He carefully opened the box, revealing a 20-centimeter-high black medicine tripod adorned with intricate patterns. It seemed to be quite old. Master Hu, we have brought what you asked for. Can you now proceed to concoct the medicine for my father? Bai Zun asked. The alchemist known as Master Hu nodded. But you know the rules, you provide all the medicinal ingredients. I only handle the alchemy, and I'm not responsible for the success rate. Yes, I understand. Bai Zun nodded submissively. This was the rule in the field of alchemy. Bring over the medicinal ingredients, Bai Zun called out to the courtyard. It wasn't long before several Bai family members brought in a tray laden with medicinal herbs, including ginseng and ganoderma, which were well known to the general public, along with some exotic and colorful plants. Alchemists had special techniques for concocting medicines, and without understanding the spell, one couldn't learn anything just by watching, so Master Hu fearlessly began concocting in front of everyone. The alchemy tools were ready, and he placed the medicine tripod over the flames, tossing in the herbs one by one as if he were cooking a pot of stew. This technique seemed so primitive, Fang Jueyu couldn't help but think. By comparison, Yao Chen's alchemy was so elegant. A successful alchemist produced potions surrounded by a fragrant aroma, but under this crude technique, a foul odor quickly spread throughout the courtyard. Fang Jueyu couldn't help but retch. Several pairs of eyes immediately focused on Fang Jueyu. Though they, too, found the smell unpleasant, none of them showed it, as it would insult and desecrate the alchemist, but this stranger openly showed such disrespect. "Stop it," Fang Jueyu could no longer hold back. "You're calling yourself an alchemist with this skill. Are you brewing a pot of excrement?" "You punk, what nonsense are you spouting?" Upon hearing Fang Jueyu's words, Bai Yu's uncle Bai He could no longer hold his temper. This so-called master, whose real name was Hu Yin, currently 63 years old. He was not only a master at the pinnacle of hidden force, but also had half a foot into the threshold of becoming a top alchemist. Even those families with innate masters held him in high regard, and he even had the status of being revered in several families much stronger than the Bai family. To get Hu Yin to craft medicines, the Bai family had paid a hefty price, even offering their family heirloom. If this mysterious person ruined it, their losses would be devastating. Moreover, it was said that Master Hu had a bad temper and was narrow-minded. If he bore a grudge against the Bai family, the consequences would be unimaginable. Within the Bai family, only Bai Yu's father, Bai Zun, and her grandfather, Bai Ruhai, had stepped into the ranks of martial artists with force transform. Bai He, being at the peak of hidden force, was close to breaking into force transform himself. If he started fighting, even 100 strong men wouldn't be his match. To prevent Fang Jueyu from spewing more nonsense and disturbing Hu Yin's alchemy, Bai He's figure moved like a fierce tiger, charging down the mountain toward Fang Jueyu. Second uncle don't. Others might not know, but Bai Yu was aware that Fang Jueyu was a genuine force transform master. Even though Bai He was at the 9th level of hidden force, he had no chance against a force transform master. Bai He couldn't imagine that Bai Yu's words were out of concern for him, rather than the young man in front of him. "Master, do you need me to step in?" Guya's voice echoed in Fang Jueyu's ear. "No need, it's just a hidden force practitioner. If your master couldn't handle such trash, what's the point of hanging around?" With the potential guiding technique, Fang Jueyu had enhanced not just his physical power, speed, nerves, and senses, but most importantly, his life essence had transformed. Even if Bai He were a force transform master, he wouldn't stand a chance against him. "Let me show you the palm technique. I learned these past 2 days at the Super God Academy." Fang Jueyu took 2 steps back and formed a complex palm sign. Surprisingly, the sound of a dragon's roar reverberated from his muscles and bones. Dragon subduing 18 palms. A dragon-shaped biological current shot out from between Fang Jueyu's palms. At that moment, he seemed to truly transform into a fearsome giant dragon. What? Projecting inner strength externally. It wasn't just Bai He, everyone was stunned. External projection of inner strength was a technique only innate masters possessed. Could this young man, who treated them like frauds, actually be an innate master? Boom! The biological current struck Bai He's chest directly, the sound of cracking ribs accompanied by a scream as he was flung away, crashing into the stone pillars of the courtyard, helplessly kneeling on the ground. Compared to Master Kaio Feng's dragon subduing 18 palms, I'm still far off. Fang Jueyu shook his head in disappointment. Kaio Feng's execution of the dragon subduing 18 palms summoned a golden dragon-shaped true qi. But such a technique required cosmic source power to perform, something Fang Jueyu couldn't achieve for a few months at least. Didn't your niece tell you not to attack, or did you just not understand? Fang Jueyu took out a qi replenishing pill and popped it into his mouth. In the ancient martial world, projecting inner strength externally was a hallmark of innate masters. However, this theory didn't apply to Fang Jueyu. His usage of biological currents was learned from a level 4 civilization, incomparable to Earth's backward cultivation system. Nevertheless, The external projection of biological currents was quite draining for Fang Jueyu, hence the qi replenishing pills to restore the expended biological currents. He had barrels and barrels of them in his space storage, consuming them without a care. "Are you an innate master?" Seeing the spectacle, Bai Zun immediately changed his tone. Although Fang Jueyu appeared incredibly young, it was rumored that some masters who surpassed the innate stage could rejuvenate their appearance. Perhaps Fang Jueyu was one such person. "No, I'm not, don't say that," Fang Jueyu quickly denied. "I'm just an ordinary high school student, not this innate master you speak of." Bai Zun was at a loss for words. "Dad, remember I mentioned that the master who helped stabilize Grandpa's injury was him." Bai Yu finally found an opportunity to speak. "Why didn't you say so earlier?" Bai Zun laughed bitterly. To suppress Bai Ruhai's injury, the practitioner must be at least force transform level or above. If they had known this earlier, Bai He wouldn't have acted rashly. "Senior, I'm sorry, my brother Bai He was reckless earlier. Please don't take it to heart." Bai Zun felt incredibly bitter at this moment. This wasn't just a force transform master. This was an innate master, wasn't it? He even felt that Fang Jueyu had held back earlier. Or else, an innate master could have easily killed Bai He with one palm strike. Little did he know, Fang Jueyu had used 80% of his strength. Although he could project biological currents externally, it was nothing compared to an innate master, whose strength was akin to a beginner-level hidden elementer. Forget it, I didn't come here to cause trouble today." Fang Jueyu said, "I've met with Elder Bai a few times. After learning about his injury, I came to help completely remove the supernatural power from his body." "Really?" Bai Zun expressed his joy. With an innate master taking action, Bai Ruhai's internal supernatural power would surely be eradicated. Thank you, Senior. Thank you, Senior." "Hey, why do you ancient martial family people always speak so archaically? It's been 41 years since reform and opening up. Can't you speak like modern people?" Bai Zun was speechless for a moment, feeling that this senior seemed a bit eccentric. With what had just transpired, Hu Yin couldn't focus on alchemy. The ingredients in the medicine tripod had already turned into a disgusting, sticky mess, filled with a burnt stench. "See, Senior," Hu Yin dared not speak rashly now. Though he was a top-tier alchemist, he couldn't offend an innate master. In actuality, with his hidden force peak cultivation, he probably wasn't a match for Fang Jueyu. "Senior, my father is in this room. What are you planning to do?" Bai Zun was unsure of Fang Jueyu's intentions. Shouldn't he use his innate true qi to help Bai Ruhai dispel the ice-related supernatural power? "Of course it's alchemy," Fang Jueyu retorted irritatedly. "Did I say I was an innate master? If I really were an innate master, I would have already healed Elder Bai when he got hurt. Why would I wait till now?" Bai Zun thought about it and realized it made sense. But if he's not an innate master, how could he perform techniques exclusive to innate masters? Although he hadn't encountered the 3 alchemists of Huaxia, Bai Zun knew they didn't look like this young man in front of him. Alchemy was even more challenging than martial arts. He couldn't believe a young man in his early 20s could be an alchemist, yet he didn't seem to be pretending. Could he truly be an elder who used elixirs to alter his appearance? "Elder, is there something we should prepare?" Bai Zun, having never witnessed an alchemist at work, was somewhat at a loss. "What elder? I'm only 20, Fang Jueyu was displeased, took out an ID card from his pocket and showed it. "See, I was born in 1998. I'm not some ancient demon."